Hi friends, welcome to day 4 of our watercolor tip a day series for World Watercolor Month. Today we're talking about something that seems small but makes a huge difference, your workspace. It's not about perfection, it's about making painting easier and more enjoyable. So let me show you how I set up my space and how you can as well. Now listen, I am not one of those super organized, always tidy artists. This is not about that. This is about setting up a workspace that works efficiently for you so you don't get overwhelmed every time you want to sit down and paint. So I like to keep my watercolor palette on my right side. I'm right-handed. I'm easily able to dip into my paint and paint, blot, and then go back in. It's a nice little rhythm for me. Some people like to keep it in front. That's also fine. I personally have a problem with making a mess, so when I reach over the palette, swirl the paint around and go back over my paper, I usually make a mess. So basically the paint will drip. I'm not careful, so that is why I like to keep it on my right side. So a lot of people do paint like this where it's in front. Just if you're visual, I'd like to show you that, but I like to keep it on my right side. And I guess it does come down to how large your paint palette is. This one has all my colors in it, so I like to keep this one out all the time. It has every color, and I like to arrange them in a certain way as well. So I pretty much have these memorized, and if you want, I can make a video on how I arrange my colors. I'm not going to go into that right now, but this is pretty much just a really easy way for me to stay not annoyed when I'm painting, so I'm not reaching for or searching. And then I do keep my water right in front like this, and I have a cup that has a little holder on it for my brush. I like to keep 2 cups of water, one for cool colors, one for warm, so that we don't get all muddy. I also do have this brush holder as well. It's a good thing to have a place to put your brush, because otherwise we might put it in our water with the bristles down and ruin our brush or lose it on the desk. I also have this heat gun on my left. I am super impatient. You don't need to use this, but I like to keep it there for when I don't feel like waiting for layers to dry. But anyways, what's next? We have our brushes. I keep my brushes in this little glass right here, and I have them all mixed up. I try to keep them by brand, but I'm not that organized. But I'm organized enough where I know where everything is. You might be a little bit more organized than me. That's fine. The point is to keep things in order. Then I keep my masking fluid here, and then I have little spray bottles. I love to use botanical misters to activate my watercolor, and also do like wet into wet methods, so I have those readily available. And then I always do have a little bit of extra water in case I make a mess or I do muddy my water up. This is one of my favorite palettes. I usually keep this on my desk. It's just a great palette to have. And then I have my paper here, and I always have my iced coffee. And then I have my iPad to the left where I can use it to reference images or watch a show or a movie. And then I have this little catch-all tray. I usually keep my gouache in here and just some random little things. Like I have my eraser, and I usually keep some clips here for my journals, and then this is my remote for my light. Then I keep my tape in here and just anything else that kind of gets in the way. For anything that I don't want on my desk but I know I want near me, I keep in this rolling art caddy or in those drawers. And then I have this nice big comfy chair. Usually there's a dog in it, but I like this one because I can cross my legs in it. It's really important to have a comfy chair if you're going to be painting for a while. And I typically like to stand when I paint, so I have this rising desk, and then on this little area I have my doggy bed because they're always in my way. For light, being near a window is always the best. I film tutorials, so I have more lighting. I have a softbox, I have this canvas co-lamp that I can put my phone in. This is typically how I film my tutorials, so if you're looking for this type of a lamp, this one is your best bet. Otherwise, a regular lamp with a day bulb is fine. I like to keep my palettes off to the side so they're not in the way, and I choose which one I'm going to use. And I use these plate racks and I store them on a shelf, so you can see here how I kind of have them. And yes, they're messy. That is how I like them. Again, type B, ADHD. And then I keep my journals here or on a shelf. I like to have them out so that I remember they're there. Otherwise, I'm gonna shove them in a drawer and I'm gonna forget them. I also have this pegboard from IKEA. This is where I like to keep my pencils and, most importantly, this scrap watercolor paper. This is what I use to test out my paints, and I always have them on my desk. Some of this might come off as really obvious, but remember, your setup does not have to be Instagram perfect. Just make it feel welcoming. That's what's going to keep you coming back to paint more often. Now that we've got our supplies and setup down, tomorrow we're diving into water control, one of the trickiest and most important parts about watercolor. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you tomorrow.